Hey there folks, John here for Biddy Kong's Quest, and I don't think it's any secret that there are a lot of licensed games on the NES, and some of them are really, really good, and I'm thinking like the Disney Capcom collection. Atlas did a great job with Hanna-Barbera games. Konami had a bunch of licensed games like Ninja Turtles and Monster in My Pocket and other things. But there are a lot of other companies that were using licensed titles that I think went a little bit more under the radar. And today, I wanted to focus on one of those companies, and specifically one of the games that they made, and that one is Bugs Bunny Birthday Blowout. Now, if you guys have ever played a Bugs Bunny game on the NES, you're probably thinking of Bugs Bunny Crazy Castle, which is an arcade kind of game where you're basically just trying to go around and collect carrots and avoid the Looney Tunes characters that are chasing you throughout this castle, and you're just going up and down platforms. I love this game. I have it complete. This is my childhood copy, and there's also a fascinating history with this entire series, actually, because Kemco, the company that made it, made some interesting decisions, which again is one of those developers you don't hear a whole lot about on the NES. They did make Bugs Bunny Birthday Blowout, which I'll get to here in just a few minutes, but just to give you guys a little bit of a primer on who Kemco was, probably more than half of their library on the NES is licensed titles. You had stuff like Spy vs. Spy that they did for Mad Magazine. I know that I played this one a decent amount with friends when I was a kid, and I don't particularly like it today. Like it doesn't hold up super well, I don't think. The other one that I have with me that they made is Superman for the NES. And if anybody's ever played Superman for the NES, this is not a good game. It's very confusing. You know, I really, really wanted this game to be good when I was a kid. I don't know what is the deal with Superman games and not being able to be any good. Now, Sunsoft did get the Superman license, at least this is the rumor, I probably need to confirm this, and they made a different Superman game, and then I think they lost the license before it was complete, so that's called Sunman. It's very similar to Journey to Silius, which originally started as a Terminator game. I did a whole history video on that. It was one of the very first history videos I did, and I really, really like it. So if you haven't seen that one, definitely go check it out. I'll put a link down below. There is a prototype of Sunman, which never came out, whereas they lost the license and then Kemco picked it up and they made this terrible Superman game. So I know I'm really selling Kemco here, but Kemco would make some licensed titles, and they would make some good ones, and then they would make some ones that were not so good, kind of like most companies on the NES. A lot of people like to think of Konami as like one of the all-time greats, but they also made some stinkers as well. You know, Capcom made some that were not so good, so they all had their ups and downs. The one that I wanted to talk about today, though, is Bugs Bunny Birthday Blowout. And if you've never played this game, this is a platformer. And going back through this game, I was really, really impressed with some of this innovative stuff that they did with this game that I feel like they did not have to do. It's not really NES hard either. It's pretty middle of the road in terms of difficulty, and it's got a ton of Looney Tunes charm. So I wanted to talk about this one because I do feel like this one flies under the radar a whole lot. So let's get into it. Let's talk about what this game has to offer and why you should pick it up, because hey, it doesn't cost very much. So here we go. Alright, so this is Bugs Bunny Birthday Blowout. And like I said, it is a platformer. You basically go around the stages, and there's kind of nonsensical, cartoony enemies. There's like a soapbox, and then like a walking mallet, this weird fire thing that floats in the air. There's some random generic ghost that looks like he got kicked out of a Casper the Ghost cartoon. Even Bugs' weapon is an oversized mallet. Now I do want to say something about this mallet and about the gameplay. The hit detection is actually a little bit wonky in this game, but I want to say a lot of times when NES games have really bad hit detection, it goes in favor of the game, not in favor of the player. In this game, your mallet's hitbox is way bigger than it feels like it should be, so you can actually be quite far away from the enemies and do the mallet and it'll still hit them. Another thing that I like about this one is you can jump on top of enemies and ride them. So if you want to get on top of an enemy and use it to reach a higher platform, you can do that. So there's actually a lot of like speedrun potential and sequence breaking potential in this game as well, which I think is really, really cool because a lot of NES games, they don't do that as much. Otherwise, I think they were trying to be pretty ambitious with this game, even though they really didn't have to. There's times when an earthquake will shake the entire screen. There's one level in the desert world where you start going and then the sand all starts falling out from under you. They're kind of set piece moments, they're storytelling moments that, again, they didn't really have to put them in there, but they did, and I think it makes the game all the better for it. Now, it does suffer from some limitations of the NES. When a lot's going on, it does suffer from some slowdown, for sure. But even, you know, the Mega Man games do that. So I don't feel like you can really hold that against it too much. You just have to be aware the frame rate will drop a little bit when there's a lot going on on the screen. But otherwise, it's a pretty solid little NES title. The music is, in my opinion, middling for the NES, but it's not bad music. It just gets a little repetitive after a while. You've heard some of it while you've been watching this video. And then graphically, it's actually a lot better than really it has to be. The Looney Tunes characters look like Looney Tunes characters. There's even some cool graphical effects and things where you can hide behind bushes and things like that, and the enemies won't see you. So there's really some interesting things. They really did try to do a lot with this game, and I think it's actually really, really impressive. Now, the cool thing about this game too is it's actually really cheap. This is like a $10 game, maybe $15 game. You probably find it cheaper. This is one of those ones that I feel like people don't pick up because they really don't know it exists. But they really should be trying, because this is really a fantastic game. Now, in terms of difficulty, it's not a very difficult game, but I will tell you, you don't really want to slow down very much. I think that was my mistake growing up with this game, is because I would try to slow down and kind of like time my movements. This is more of a speedrunner's game. The health is pretty generous and you can just keep going. You don't have to slow down very much unless there's like a platform you're waiting on or something like that. It's a little bit unpolished. It's a little bit of a kind of a diamond in the rough, but in all the good ways. Like, it's not frustrating. It's not any of those things. Also, there's mini games at the end of levels. There's like a bingo mini game, but then there's also a whack-a-mole mini game, which is pretty cool. I really love that, and I remember liking that one as a kid. All in all, I think this is an absolutely fantastic game for you to check out. Now again, going back to Kemco, the people that made it, they did make some other stuff on the NES, and they made Shadowgate. If you've never played Shadowgate, I don't know how you haven't heard of Shadowgate if you're an NES fan, but hey, it's a point-and-click adventure, one of the defining titles in that genre on the system, so, you know, Shadowgate's amazing. They also did Deja Vu, and they did The Uninvited, which I think is a sequel or a prequel to Shadowgate. I don't remember. It's been a while since I played it. I don't have that one. But they made Shadowgate, which is an absolute classic. They also made Rescue the Embassy Mission, and not enough people talk about this game. This is like literally a $5 game, maybe a $3 game. I don't know why this one is so cheap, but it is one of the most varied games in terms of gameplay and ideas on the entire NES's library. If you've never played Rescue the Embassy Mission, it is my highest recommendation for you to check out, especially because you can get it for a song. You could probably even get it packed in if you're at a convention and you buy 2 NES games and you see Rescue the Embassy Mission. I would bet that you could just pick it up and say, hey, can you throw this one in too? And they're just gonna say yes. You know, I don't know why this game is so cheap, but it shouldn't be. You know, it is relatively short, but again, it is a fantastic game for the NES. I just wanted to point out those other 2 Kemco titles. Now, Kemco is an interesting company because they had a lot of licenses and they handled them very weirdly in different regions. Some of the stuff they did is absolutely wild, especially with the Crazy Castle series. But that's about all I wanted to say. I mean, again, it's Bugs Bunny Birthday Blowout. It's not gonna light the world on fire, but I do feel like it's a game that people overlook a lot, and I don't think you should. So what do you think? Did you guys play Bugs Bunny Birthday Blowout? Did you play Crazy Castle? You know, how did you grow up with the NES, or did you grow up with the NES? And was there any other games that you feel like are like these rare gems that, or even just rare good games that nobody talks about, or like they never get any attention or anything else? I think Bugs Bunny Birthday Blowout is one of those. But there you go, I'll leave it there for now. So like, comment, subscribe, do all that YouTube stuff. It really helps the channel out. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.